There are four basic operations that you can perform on whole numbers: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So I'm going to provide a very brief overview of how to perform operations on positive whole numbers. And if you'd like a more in-depth review, please schedule a tutoring appointment. So first is addition. So when we are adding whole numbers, we start at the right and we add straight down. So 3 plus 6 is 9. Then we move over, 2 plus 8 is 10. So what we do is we put the 0 here and we carry the 1 to the next column. So now 3 plus 8 is 11, plus 1 is 12, and then carry the 1. 2 plus 4 is 6, and then add that 1 to get 7. So 7,209. Next is subtraction. Again, start at the right and we'll move our way over. So we try and do 1 minus 7, but you can't subtract 7 from 1. So what we need to do is we need to borrow or regroup. So we borrow what is basically a group of 10 from the next column. So that would make this a 6 and would make this an 11. So now we can do 11 minus 7 is 4, 6 minus 3 is 3, and 8 minus 6 is 2, so 234. Next is multiplication. Again, we're going to start at the right, so we're going to multiply everything times this 2. So 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1, 1 times 2 is 2, add the 1 to get 3, and now 2 times 2 is 4. So we're done with that 2. So now we're going to put a 0 placeholder here, and we're going to multiply everything in the top by that 5. So 6 times 5 is 30, carry the 3. 1 times 5 is 5, add the 3 is 8. Now 2 times 5 is 10. So now we've done everything multiplied times the 2, everything multiplied times the 5. So now we need to add these two together. So 2 plus 0, 3 plus 0, 4 plus 8, carry the 1, 1, 1. So 11,232. Last but not least is division. So what this means is 495 divided by 5. So we try and we go 5 into the first number, 5 into 4 goes 0 times. 0 times 5 is 0, and now we subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4, and then we bring down the 9. Now 5 goes into 49 9 times. 9 times 5 is 45. Again, subtract and bring down. Last time, 5 goes into 45 9 times. 9 times 5 is 45. Subtract, nothing's left, and nothing's there to bring down, so we're done. 5 goes into 495 99 times. And some people get confused on how to plug this into the calculator, so very quickly, you plug this number in first. So you would plug this in as 495 divided by 5. 495 divided by 5, and get 99. So that is how you perform these four basic operations on positive whole numbers. Next, we're going to look at how you perform the four basic operations on integers, or a mix of positive and negative numbers. So the first thing is addition. And when I do addition, I like to think of it more visually. So this means positive 5 plus negative 3. So I think of 5 positives and then adding 3 negatives. And the thing about positives and negatives is that they cancel each other out, and all we're left with is 2 positives. So our answer is positive 2. Similarly here, we have 7 negatives and 2 more negatives. So when you add them all together, we have nothing but negatives. We have negative 9. Here, if we think about it visually, we have 3 negatives and we're adding 2 positives. These will cancel, and all we have left is a negative 1. Last, visually, we have 6 negatives and 6 positives. So if you think of 6 negatives and you think of 6 positives, they're all going to cancel out, and there is nothing left, 0. So subtraction comes with its own rule. People call it different things. I call it keep, change, change. Or some people call it like keep, change, flip. There's different ways, but I call it keep, change, change. And what that means is you keep the first number, so keep the 5, change the subtraction to addition, and then change the sign on the next number. So this becomes 5 plus positive 3. Keep, change, change. So that is 8. Similarly, keep the negative 7, change, change. So change the subtraction to addition, change the sign on the last number. So negative 7 plus positive 2, again, if you want to think of it visually, we have negative 5. Next, we have keep the negative 3, change, and then change the sign. Change the subtraction to addition, change the sign on the last number. So now we have negative 3 plus negative 2. So these are all negatives. So negative 5. And then last, we keep the negative 6, we change the sign, subtraction to addition, and then we change the sign on the last number. Negative 6 plus negative 6 is negative 12. Now there's only one more rule you need to learn, and that is the same for both multiplying and dividing. So these are the same. If you multiply positive times a positive, it's positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. If you have half and half, a positive times a negative, it gives you a negative, and a negative times a positive gives you a negative. Same thing over here. So what it kind of all boils down to is if you're working with the same sign, it's positive. So the same sign gives you a positive. The same sign gives you a positive. If you have different signs, it gives you a negative. So you have one of each gives you a negative, one of each gives you a negative. For both multiplication and division, same rules. So we'll try a few. So our first one is 5 times negative 3. So first you do 5 times 3 is 15. Now you look at your signs. You had one positive, one negative. So you have one of each, so this is a negative. Same thing here. Let's do 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now look at your signs. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. Same signs as a positive. 3 times 2 is 6. We have one of each. We have a negative and a positive. When you have different signs, it's a negative. Similarly here, 6 divided by 6 is 1. Look at your signs. Negative divided by a negative, same signs, means a positive. And that's how you perform the basic operations on integers.